Okay, good morning. Welcome to this Canvas refresher. My name is Roisin Garvey. I'm in the Department of Technology Enhanced Learning. What we're going to cover today in this session is some information specific to MTU, so enrollments, logging into Canvas. I'm going to cover some cross-listing, and then we're going to go into a demo of Canvas where I look at accessing modules, copying module content, a bit on the module interface, and then some demonstration on publishing and communication in Canvas. So I'm just going to turn off my camera here while I do the session. If you have any questions, do please feel free to add them in the Q&A if you're joining on Zoom, or in the chat box if you're joining on YouTube. We will have a recording of this session afterwards as well, and we have a lot of resources available on our YouTube channel already as well of other sorts of training. So the first thing I'm going to talk about as well, I suppose, is some of the integrations that are available within Canvas. So Canvas is really at the center of our e-learning infrastructure here in MTU. Integrated into Canvas is Zoom for any live sessions. We also have the anti-plagiarism software Original that's fully integrated into Canvas as well. We have some e-learning authoring tools like H5P. So that's for creating sort of media-rich content in your Canvas modules. We have some automated assessments, so Labster and Numbers. So these are available as well for any modules that might make use of them. You can just contact us and we'll be able to add these into your Canvas module. There's also learning analytics, which are great for being able to sort of keep an eye on how students are progressing through the module and identifying any students who might be in need of an intervention in order to kind of progress through the semester. We have a digital attendance tool called Quickly. So that's a nice tool to allow you to take attendance within your Canvas module. It pulls in the student list from Canvas. And it also has a feature as well that allows your students to check in themselves. So you can do a kind of a roll call, or else students can check in with a code. We also have an accessibility integration called UDoIt. So that allows you to check for accessibility issues within your Canvas module and make updates to it within the tool. And we also have Microsoft Immersive Reader integrated in it. So I'm going to show you a couple of things about those when we go into the demonstration shortly, just kind of maybe how to switch things on if they're not available in the module navigation. The other thing as well with Canvas here in MTU as well is that we do recommend the Canvas mobile apps. So there's a mobile app available for Android and for iOS for both staff and students. So this is a really nice app. It students can use it on the go to access their notes or anything like that, and also lecturers can use it to add content, and also for marking and feedback. It can be quite useful for that as well. This diagram here, it just shows some of the tools that are integrated into Canvas, and then other supported tools here in MTU. So you'll see in the center you have Canvas, and you have a lot of the sort of features available there. There are categories then based on sort of teaching and learning activities. So if you have communication and collaboration, things like announcements, discussions. We also have the group spaces in Canvas, which are really nice for collaboration. We've the tool Miro, which is a brainstorming tool. It's a really nice one. So that's supported by us here in TEL as well. It's outside of Canvas, but it's a nice one to be able to kind of use within your classes. We have over there on the right, we've classroom management and tracking. So things like the calendar and the analytics within Canvas. You also have a kind of a scheduler tool as well that's available, which is really nice for being able to schedule kind of maybe even one-to-one sessions or other sessions outside of normal class time. Content on demand, like pages and units. So we'll be going through that as well in this session. I mentioned H5P just there on the outer edge of that circle. That's another integration that's there in Canvas. And then you also have things like Screencast-O-Matic and other e-learning authoring tools, which work quite nicely as well with Canvas. Other peripherals then as well in terms of kind of, webcams and headsets and everything like that. All of these sort of make up the e-learning infrastructure here in MTU. I mentioned the Canvas apps as well. So this was the teacher app. You can see in the screenshot there, it gives you a nice overview of the modules that you have as well, and the ability to add your feedback and grading within the Canvas app itself. So that's a nice one. As I said, it's available on iOS and Android, so you can get it from the App Store or the Play Store. So the first thing I want to cover here is enrollment. So I know we're a little bit into the semester now already, but we still do get queries about this for a couple of weeks at the start of each semester. So enrollments are brought in automatically from Web for Faculty or MyBan as it's being referred to now. So they come automatically into Canvas. If you find that you log into Canvas and you can't find a module that you're supposed to be teaching on, I'll show you where you can have a search for it. But if you don't see it in your Canvas account, you can send a message to Web for Faculty Cork at mtu.ie, give them the CRN, your staff ID, and they'll be able to enroll you on that. And then any of those updated enrollments will come over into Canvas. We say 24 hours, but it's usually far less than that, because there's an automatic script that comes over in the afternoon and then in the middle of the night. So if you get an update from Web for Faculty that they've updated your account with that enrollment, that should be over in Canvas by the afternoon. The other thing as well is in terms of accessing Canvas. So this works the same way as you would be accessing WorkVivo or some other tools here in MTU. So you'll be logging into Canvas with your CIT staff email and password. So you can do that at cit.instructure.com. So the link to Canvas is also available in WorkVivo. It's available on the CIT website, and there's a few different links for it, so I'll be able to show you those as well. So that is your CIT staff email and password to log in there. Another thing I just want to mention, because again, we are still getting requests for this at the moment, is cross-listing. So this is something that's done a lot at the start of each semester. Cross-listing is essentially merging two or more class groups if you want to share content and enrollments across those. So if you were teaching the same content to two different class groups at the same time in the same place, it's very useful to merge those modules on Canvas. To do that, if you send a request to edtech@mtu.ie, and if you give the SIS ID of the parent module and the SIS ID of any of the child modules that you want to merge, we'll be able to do that for you. I'll show you when we go into Canvas where you can get your SIS ID as well. So I'm just going to jump over into a demonstration, and we'll go through a few of those items that I mentioned there. So when we first log into Canvas, you'll come to your Canvas dashboard. So this shows all of the current semester modules that you are enrolled on. You'll see that it's categorized by published modules. And then if I scroll down here, I see my unpublished modules down here. Over here on the left, we have what's known as the global navigation menu. So this is the menu that's available wherever you are in your Canvas module. This will always be here, and it gives you quick access to back to your dashboard, which is this page. It's like your home page. Quick access to other modules. Your calendar feature here as well. You've your inbox. So this is a nice communication tool, and I can go through this shortly as well. And then you also have this help menu. So again, I'll look at that a little bit later in the session when we're talking about extra supports. If you come here and you can't find the module that you think you should have on your Canvas account, if you click on modules and then go down here all the way to the bottom and click on all modules, this will show you all of the modules that you're enrolled in. You can see over here whether you're enrolled as a student or a teacher on it. You can see whether the module is published. A published module is something that's available to students, so students will be able to access it. By default, all modules are unpublished, so students might be enrolled on it, but when you have your module all set up and ready to go, you need to publish it for your students to be able to access it. Over here is your module names. You'll be able to give it a little bit of a nickname if you want. It'll also have down here in the term column what term the module is available in. So this is the current, or sorry, this is the last semester module, semester 1. And we have some of our unpublished modules down here, and then past enrollments here as well. So these would be ones that are from the previous academic year or for previous semesters. If you want to add a module to your dashboard that isn't already there, you can click to star it here. So that just creates a shortcut to your module on your dashboard. If there's any that you want to remove, you can just do that there with by clicking on the star as well, and that will remove it from the dashboard. So if I go back to the dashboard here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to click on one of my modules. If I can find, oh, here it is. So this is a module here. I can see it's under my unpublished list. So if I click into this, this is what you will see when you come into your module for the first time. It'll be empty. What we have is this sort of template that we have pushed out from the TEL department, and it's kind of structured in a way to sort of hide some of the elements that are like less used, but it is possible to sort of activate these as well. Or if there's an integration that you want to use, like quickly, the attendance tool, you'll be able to activate this within your module as well yourself. So you can see when I'm in my module, I still have my global navigation menu here on the left. I also have my module menu here. So this has some of the features, they're all categorized. So we have our announcements, our assignments and discussions all the way down here. And then we have our settings down at the bottom. Over here on the right, we also have some, it's like a contextual menu. So this will change depending on what you're in your Canvas module. So you have some sort of general options here and general buttons and features here. You also have your calendar access here as well for this module. And up here at the top, you'll see your publish. So at the moment, as I said, this is unpublished by default. If I want to go into my settings here, I can check for my SIS ID. So this is down here at the bottom. So if you want to cross-list your module, or if you need to contact us about one of your modules, you can send us the SIS ID and we'll be able to identify the module quite quickly as well. Now, so up here as well, what you have is your navigation menu. So this allows you to customize what's being shown over here. You can see that there's a little icon with a line through it. So that means that it's not visible to students. Sometimes some of these options have a line through them, even if the item is up here under the active navigation up at the top. The reason for this is that it's empty. So if you roll your mouse over that particular item, it'll tell you no content not visible to students. If I add an announcement, it'll show up for the students as well there. You can customize this menu, as I said before. So if there's any items that you don't want to use, for instance, if you're only going to be using assignments and you you're not going to be using quizzes like MCQs or anything like that, you can drag those down to the bottom. If there's anything like I mentioned quickly, the attendance tool, if you decide that you'd like to use that within your module, you can drag that up to the top and that'll be available then. Just don't forget to click save down here at the bottom. So that's updated the navigation menu for you there. Now, one thing that's quite useful in Canvas is if you were teaching this module each academic year, you might have files and content that you'd like to bring into this new module. So to do that, it's possible to be able to export module content from a previous academic year and then import it then into this one. You can then change the due dates on assignments. If you have any assignments that you're using, you can update any of the information once you bring it in. If there's any content that you'd like to edit or anything, you can do that. But it just speeds up the process of populating your Canvas module. The way you can do that is if you go into your settings menu again, and there's an option to export module content. So I've done this already just to speed up things a little bit. But when you do it, you would just click on export module content. You can export, just make sure module is clicked there and create the export. That'll run the export tool and then a little package will be available for you to download. When you want to import that then into your blank module, you can come into your settings again and click on import module content. If I click on content type and then Canvas module export package, so that's just what I've exported, I can choose my file from my computer. It's a .imscc file. Click on open. I'm going to click on all content. You can also choose to select specific content to import, and that'll give you the option then to kind of customize that, what you're going to import. For this one, I'm just going to choose all content. So this will bring in any files that I've uploaded in my previous module in my previous academic year, any assignments or anything like that. I have the option to adjust events and due dates. So this means that any of the kind of extra information that may have been attached to the assignments or anything like that can be updated. So if I click on this, I can either shift the dates or else I can remove the dates altogether. So I'm just going to click on remove dates because that just keeps it nice and clean and I can go in and I can update the dates afterwards. And then I'm just going to click on import. So you can see here now that this is queued. It generally doesn't take too much time. And once it's uploaded, then all the content will kind of show up in the same way that it was structured in your previous module. So I'm just going to let that run there for a second. This was quite a small module, and so there's not a huge amount of content that would have been coming in. So there's a few messages that I'm getting as well for it. So this is in terms of any kind of issues. So external tools that were added with it. So any kind of information like that, it'll highlight that. So it's good that you'll be able to find out when you're adding in the content if there's any issues that might show up for your students. Another one here that's quite a common one is missing links or links that may not work in the new module. What you can do though to check that is if you go back into your settings and if you click on validate links in content, what that does, it'll scan your module and it'll show you places maybe where students might not be able to access the content that you've added, whether it's linking out to an external module that maybe the student isn't enrolled on and they're going to come up with a block when they try to click on it. Maybe it's a link that doesn't work anymore. And it's a really nice way of just being able to show you any issues that a student might have with the content that you've added. So that's a nice tool there that's available. So I could just click on start link validation and that will run and show me the results there, and then I can make the changes. I'm just going to click back on the home page. So this is the content that I've imported. What it's done is it's given me, I had a sort of a welcome page that I had in my previous module. And this is shown up here as well. So this is a nice thing that it's sort of general. So it's something that would be applicable to a lot of my modules. If I like, I can go in here to click on edit. And this will show the content editor. This is also known as a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. And this allows me to just edit the content here if I like. So I can put in extra information. And I'm just treating this just like a normal word processor. So like Word or anything like that, and I can bold my content or anything, and I can use headings, change the font. I can also integrate a YouTube video if I like. So that's quite a quick way of doing it. You can integrate that straight away. I'm just going to click cancel. Oh, sorry. Click OK. You also have the H5P integration that I mentioned there, and you can also add in links. You can add in images, uploading them or adding them from the module itself. Files are the same things. You can upload a document, or you can search for any documents that have already been uploaded into your module. So all of these are sort of nice tools that are available. What Canvas tries to do as well is it tries to make it easy for you to link to content around your module. So helping to guide your students to the content that they might need. So I'm just going to click on save there. So this also includes just the links here. So as I was mentioning, it's kind of easy to link to the various content within your module. And this is how you would do it there. What we often recommend in terms of people setting up their Canvas modules is to use this thing called units. So this is much the same as using folders to categorize your content. And what we recommend is to, give it a meaningful title and maybe categorize it by the week that your content is, the week of the semester. So week 1 content, any class slides that you have, you can add them. Any recordings, if you've got a live Zoom session or any recommended reading, you can add the content here. And you can structure it like that so it's easier for the students to be able to navigate through the module content. I'm just going to show you how you might add your units and also how you might add content or these headings to the unit. So I finished there on week 4. So I'm just going to come up here and click on this plus unit button up here. And I'm just going to call this week 5. Click on add unit, and that'll add it to the bottom here. So this gives me a prompt right away to drop files or to add content to this particular unit. So I can use this as a drag and drop tool. So I can grab a file from my desktop and I can just upload it here. I'm just going to see if I have one there that I can grab quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a PDF and that'll update there. And you can see that shows up here. The other way to do it is to click on this plus icon here. And that will give you a few different options. So you can add assignments, quizzes, files, pages. You can link to a discussion. And then you can also have the text headers. So this helps you to categorize the content within the units. You also have the option to link to an external URL. So if you want to link to an external web page, or if you want to link to an external tool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a text header. So I'll just click on that. And then I'm just going to say class slides. Click to add the item. And then I can use this tool here to just drag and drop that heading wherever I want in the unit, just to be able to structure it a bit better. One thing you might notice here as well is this green tick, and then this icon here, the circle with the line through it. So this refers to the publishing. So I mentioned at the start that you can publish your entire module for your students to be able to access it. But there's also 2 other levels of publishing within your Canvas module. So you have your full module. So if I go into my home page, I'll be able to publish my full module. So if I click on that, if I click on publish, this is going to make this, this module accessible to the students, so they'll be able to click on it. If I go back into my units, you can see that I have a publish option here for the entire unit and then for the individual files. So if you think of it as 3 levels, you've got your publishing for your entire module, you've publishing for your unit, and then you've publishing for your individual files or assignments or links or anything like that. So if I see down here on week 4, I do have my assignment published here. But if a student were to come into this list of units, they wouldn't actually be able to see the content here because the level above it, the unit itself, is not published. You can check quite easily what a student can see within your Canvas module if you scroll to the top and click on Student View. And this will show you what a student can see within your Canvas module. So you can see that these are visible here. You've got your Zoom and your announcements and your pages, all these navigation items. You might be wondering why Quizzes is here and Quickly is not, since we changed our navigation menu, but that's because I imported the module content from the previous academic year, and it brought with it the structure of the module as well. So that's something to note. So if you bring in your module content from a previous academic year, it's a good idea then to go through the navigation and see what you want to update based on that. So if I scroll down here to week 4, you'll see it's not available, neither is week 5, because I didn't have the unit published. So if I click on Leave Student View here, and if I scroll down to week 4, and I just click this button here to publish this, this unit, and I'll do the same here, you'll see that these have published automatically. But if you decide that, no, I'm going to leave that for the moment, I'm not going to show them the annotated bibliography, so I'll just click on Unpublish here as well, and that'll turn that off. So I'm just going to go back up to my student view and scroll down so I can see week 4 and week 5, but the item I just unpublished there is not available. So just click on Leave Student View there. So I mentioned communication tools as well within Canvas. So one of the popular ways that that lecturers use to communicate with students is this announcements feature up here. So if I click on that, you'll see that I have some announcements that are already there, and these were ones that were imported from my previous academic year. So if I want, I can click on those and delete them. So I'm just going to do that there, click on delete. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add another announcement. So you can see it shows up much the same interface as it would be for your pages. And some examples of how you might use announcements is if there's if class has to be cancelled at the last minute, if there's a change of classroom, if you want to update them, update your students that you've got that their assignment is ready to be viewed or anything like that. All of this can be done through announcements. So I'm just going to put in a sample announcement here. So I'm just going to say that the class will now be on Zoom on Wednesday, 1st of February. So that's my topic title, and then I'm just going to put in my announcements here. So what I'm going to do is just put in a bit of information to direct the students to where they can access the Zoom session. So please click the Zoom link in the menu on the left. Now, if I want as well, I can also link to some files or some areas within the Canvas module to give extra direction to the students. So what I can say is we'll discuss class slides here. And if I highlight this, I can add in a link. So if I go up here to my link option, and I can click on course link, and that will give me the option to choose areas of my Canvas module. So if I go down to units, and if I click on week 2, and what that will do is it'll give the students a link directly to that unit. And so they'll understand from this announcement that we're going to be discussing the class slides here from week 2. So what I can do as well is there's an option to post it to all sections, or if this is a cross-listed module, or if you're using sections within your module, so this is separating student groups, you can click here and it'll give you the option. So this is the one section or CRN that would be in use in this module. So I can click on that, or else it will just send it to all sections. You can attach a file if you like here, and then you've other options like allowing users to comment, allow liking, delay posting, anything like that. So if I click on publish, depending on my students' notification preferences within their accounts, they would likely get this by email. When they're in their dashboard, they'll be able to see a little icon as well. I'm just going to click back on my dashboard here just to show you. So they'll see a little icon here and an indicator that there's a new announcement. If you are going to be using announcements within your Canvas module, it's a good idea to let the students know at the start of the semester, just so that they know that to expect this way of communication. So if you go into your account and click on notifications, this gives you an option to customize the notifications that you would get for your account. So this is something that's available to students as well. Because I have the Canvas app I installed on my phone, I have push notifications available. I have 2 email addresses added to this Canvas account. So I have my @CIT one and I have my @MTU one. So I can choose to get notifications for particular things. So if I scroll down here to announcements, I can either get a weekly summary, or if I click on this here, I can get the option to be notified immediately by email, to get a daily summary, to get a weekly summary, or have notifications turned off for this category of announcements. So this is why it's important to kind of maybe say it to your students if you are going to be using announcements, because it just gives them the heads up that they should have their notifications turned on for it, just in case there's any urgent things that you want to highlight for them. So if I just go back into my dashboard and go into my Canvas module, there we go. So that's they're sort of a lot of the main things. There also is this inbox over here. So if you click on that, it gives you the option to send a mail to somebody. So you can choose your modules. You can choose you can choose all your modules there, and you can write like a message in your Canvas inbox, and it's basically like an email, and you can attach files, or you can add a video message or anything like that. You can choose, as I said, the module, you can choose to send it to all of the students on the module, to all of the lectures or anything like that, and you can it'll go there and they'll get the notification here in their Canvas inbox. So that can be kind of handy as well if you want to be able to communicate directly with the student. Say if a student has something personal that they need to contact you about, Canvas inbox is a good way of doing that. And it also helps as well to keep things out of email if you want to just have all your communication with your students over on Canvas. They're the main things I wanted to cover here. Or the last thing I just want to show you as well, sorry, is the Canvas calendar. So if I click on this in my global navigation menu, what this has is all of the calendars for your particular modules, and you're able to filter this. It's just taking a small bit to load. So you can filter this by module. You can turn on your active modules, turn on the calendars for your active modules. You can filter this over here. So you can do any of that there, and it will show up information here. So what's showing up at the moment is the calendar for the entire of MTU. So it shows kind of what semester we're in, and it shows any kind of MTU specific information here. So this is the calendar here. If I want to turn that off, I just click on that box here, and that will turn off the information for that. There is some options as well where, as I mentioned at the start, you can use the scheduling tool, so you can schedule one-to-one sessions, or if you were doing presentations as part of an assessment, you can do a schedule there with that, and it allows students to be able to sign up for particular time slots. So I won't go into detail on any of that, but I'm just going to direct you to some of the supports that are available as well, including some of the help articles that we have on various aspects of Canvas and Zoom, and then other integrations as well. So I'm just going to jump back into my presentation there just to cover those last few bits. So in terms of supports, what we have as well is 24/7 support with Canvas Tier 1. One of the ways that we recommend to contact them is using this live web chat. And so that would be a lot of the ways that would be useful is for, any specific issues in terms of kind of your Canvas module or anything like that. You can also contact them by phone or by email. If you want to contact them by live chat, if you're in your module and you go to the help button down here, this will give you a bunch of resources and different things, but it also gives you the quick access to the phone support and the web chat for staff and for students. So this is available for students as well within their Canvas modules. The web chat is just a nice quick way of getting support as kind of quick as possible. And because it's 24/7 as well, if you've any issues at the weekend or in the evenings where we're not available until, they should be able to give you a hand with that. Some other supports as well. So our own website, tel.cit.ie. We have some support guides, and we also have our YouTube channel as well, where we have a lot of training on Canvas, on Zoom, and then on other EdTech tools. So I'm just going to show you that as well. So if I just jump over here, you can see up the top, you have a link to log into Canvas and Zoom. And if you have this button here called support, and if I click I'm a lecturer, it gives you a lot of information about different aspects like quizzes, creating interactive content with H5P, and then these knowledge guides. So this is our knowledge base here, where we have a lot of help articles that are categorized then based on different topics and different issues, and helping you to kind of troubleshoot any issues that you might have. The other thing that we have available as well is Canvas Learn for staff. So all staff are enrolled in this Canvas Learn module. And if you click on that, you'll get information as well about kind of creating and managing content, creating assignments, quizzes, or anything like that. So that's available there. So that's all I wanted to cover today. So if there's any questions, do please feel free to pop them into the chat on YouTube or into the Q&A here on Zoom. If you don't have any questions, I'm just going to give it a minute or two. If you don't have any questions, but something occurs to you afterwards, do feel free to contact us at edtech@mtu.ie, and we'll be able to help you out with any of your issues that you might have, or any questions that you might have as well about any of the integrations. We'd be happy to help. Okay, I don't think we've any questions, so I might just leave it at that. Many thanks for joining us today. And as I said, the recording will be available afterwards, and we'll be able to send it out to anybody signed up for this session. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.